Hey peeps, it's John McKenzie here from staffleverage.com. Today we've got two international guest speakers in the digital space. So welcome Phil James from Good Milk Shake Digital from Des Moines. Welcome to the show. Also Trevor Samons from Inspired Method from Edmonton. Thank you guys for joining. And today we're talking about bots, we're talking about emerging trends, and we're talking about all things digital in sales conversion. So, once again, thank you for coming along.
Hey, happy to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Terrific. So we might actually open up bots at the moment because it's a hot topic in the modern world today when we talk Facebook marketing, Messenger, and how that automation piece works. So I might actually throw to you, Phil. I know that we've talked about this quite a bit offline. You're doing some wonderful things in the space. I've spoken to quite a few thought leaders and experts in this environment, and you're just doing some really cutting edge stuff. It's really impressive. I'd just like to for you to talk to our viewers and just share some of your thoughts and how you're being executing and really winning for your clients.
Well, it starts with understanding your clients, and understanding the audience that they're trying to reach. And what we've noticed in the last couple of years, I go back to 2011 when I first started doing this for restaurants. Restaurants for the longest time were working on some really, I want to say there really wasn't a lot of effort into Facebook marketing because you go out there, you put a coupon online, and 1,500 people see it, and maybe you'll get like a dozen or so in your restaurant. They didn't have to work very hard doing it. So what I've started, with all the algorithm changes, I've noticed that it's become more and more necessary for small business owners to take that audience back. And whether that is through search engine optimization, obviously that's a big thing for you, John, and Trevor as well. But also it's, having that at the forefront where you're capturing the majority of the audience there and your own platform, you sort of own that audience rather than having that go to Facebook. And also email capture. And what I've been playing around a lot with is Facebook Messenger. So that's the whole idea. The whole idea is not, this is just a new toy to play around with. It's how do I take that power back from Facebook? Because you can get trapped in this idea. You have to stop this idea of being so romantic about one particular platform. Now, I love Facebook. I love Instagram. And I love all the great stuff it does for my clients. But, we're just one algorithm change away from them tripling the cost of my ads.
That's an interesting thing. So when you talk about, let's dig into the detail without walking through, the process. But when you actually say you're using Facebook and now you're using Messenger, what is what does a transaction look like from the user and also from the restaurant? So how does the restaurant actually win?
Well, we do a couple different things. Once a week for the restaurants that I work with, basically we'll do a Facebook post and we'll ask somebody to like, comment, and share on a particular post in exchange for something of value. And what that does is it gives them an opportunity to become a subscriber, and we follow up with that subscriber via Facebook Messenger. And basically, it sends an automatic message automatically when they type in a keyword. For example, they'll say free or whatever the keyword is. And what I'll do is I'll basically give them the opportunity to either opt out if they want to, which is kind of within the Facebook rules, or I ask them, I give basically on a weekly basis or a semi-weekly basis. Send out either offers or opportunities for them to interact with the page. So it helps the brand in keeping direct contact with people. I don't think it's a be all end all, but I think it's a nice additional function for showing additional value to the client.
So what you're really doing is helping reach customers that's looking for an outcome now, and then converting them in the modern world, through some form of offer. And for me, that's very interesting because it's where the world is right now. So you're finding people that have a need and you're talking to them when they've got that need and converting them. Is that right?
Yeah. The idea is to sort of catch them off guard. And, because Facebook is less of an on-demand service, it's more of, if I'm comparing Facebook to Google, for example, if I'm doing a Google search, I'm specifically looking for a restaurant to go to. If I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed, it's a little bit different experience. So you have to give somebody a pretty substantial offer in order to get them in your restaurant, right? Does that answer what you're asking?
Yes. So you broke up a little bit there through the digital. It's wonderful when it works perfectly, but sometimes it can actually cause some challenges in the live environment. You're talking about how they that special offer comes through and it actually helps with that conversion. So when you're doing that at the moment, and you said that you've been working with some restaurants for quite some time, going back to 2010, 2011. So that's 6-7 years really. What's the conversion been like for some of your clients? And so in building an audience and also making money, because at the end of the day, what businesses want when they actually engage is actually saying, hey, can you help me convert more sales today?
Right. I mean, that's the crux of this issue. And are you having trouble hearing me? I'm just going to double check. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's breaking up a little bit at the moment. But let's just see if it fixes itself in a moment. But if you continue, and I can see that, and he'll be due back. I can see him coming back into the lobby. So hopefully that can pick up in a moment.
Sure. So obviously sales are paramount to what people are expecting out of you. But one thing that I've noticed that I've really had to stress lately is that when I want to provide some real value to people, I first start off with the idea of building a brand. And what that means is, Facebook Live events, video, really, really hammering home exactly the same kind of message that these people are trying to reach. And, that's number one. Number one, it's really given me an opportunity to, it's given me an opportunity to sort of evaluate what it really means to be a marketer. And for me, what that's really meant is, number one, building a brand, and so that you can earn long-term customers, because that's really what they want. What they want is people to come in month after month after month. And so that takes some massaging, right? And the other side of it is, yes, they want a brand, a long-term brand, but they also want people in the doors today. So what I found is that this whole bot/email/SEO thing, it does all three of those.
That's very interesting. So what I might do is I'm going to pop out of the lobby for a second. Did you want to talk about how you see some emerging trends in bots moving forward at the moment? And then it'll take me just 15 seconds to pop back in. Hopefully that just fixes up the audio that I've got going on at the moment. And I'll see if I can get Trevor back in at the same time. So I think that you're seeing a lot of sales conversion at the moment through bots, particularly through your customers. But how do you see that changing through different emerging trends right now, particularly like in that customer audience space?
Right. Well, right now there's what I found is really fun is the ability to connect various audiences from one to another, right? So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you have somebody that is that has a particular email campaign going on, and the ability to capture an audience from a bot perspective, basically taking the bot and emerging it into let's say an email campaign. That to me is very exciting. So, I mean, that's when are you there, John?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. And also, like what I really love about it is that you have the opportunity to shake somebody's hand before they even walk in the door. You get a sense of what their personality is. The bot can sort of take on its own persona, so you can have the bot sort of take on the persona of the restaurant. One other thing that's been tremendous for my business, for my restaurants, is the ability for them to schedule things like private events, which for me has been a huge moneymaker for restaurants, because if you're a restaurant owner, for the most part, you're kind of like sitting there praying for rain, right? You're sort of praying for people to show up. And what restaurants are finding is that if they focus more, just a little bit more time, a little bit more money on their ad spend on trying to get private events in the door, then they'll know by the end of the summer, they're going to have a pretty good idea that there are going to be an additional 7 or 8 wedding parties in their door that they can plan staffing around. They can plan, equipment buys. Can you imagine having to go to a bank and say, give me a loan, or extend a line of credit, and being able to go to a bank and say, look, here's what's on my books in the next 12 months. It's a pretty powerful thing.
Look, I just want to step in there, and we'll flick over to Trevor in a moment. But look, I spent 18 years in finance, so when I know the depth of that benefit, and believe me, it's massive. And when I have a look at digital agencies at the moment, businesses at the moment, and then I reflect on where their bankers are. In my experience, bankers at the moment just do not understand the digital space, so they're very weak in that segment. I suspect that in the next probably 2 to 5 years, every bank is going to have a digital presence assessment, and they will not lend money unless businesses actually have, a reasonable footprint in that space, and then how they are actually improving their fundamentals in that space. And as I said, look, I spent 18 years, even before digital, and sort of entered the marketing space. We're all old school traditional marketing, but right now it's just a very, very big market, and I see that massive change coming on the way. So Trevor, I know that you've dropped in and out, but welcome back. We've just been talking a little bit about how bots are actually helping to develop the sales funnel of a business, and we just touched on how banks can actually use that for future opportunities for financing. What's your view on that? And then also, what's your view on how you're seeing search engine optimization or just communication and messaging in closing sales for a customer?
Well, with the rising trend of using bots,
I don't know if you can hear me at the moment. Trevor, have you got us here?
I don't see
I don't think you can hear us. So we might continue on. You can still hear me, Phil?
I can, yes.
Terrific. So what I might do is I might just drop Trevor in and out of the lobby and see if that brings him back. So coming back over to you, Phil. Where do you see the changes from a sales standpoint from marketing? So the marketing message. What have you seen that change recently on how that can help with conversion?
Oh, it's an enormous advantage if somebody's looking to sell to you're talking about selling to a venue, for example, right? If I'm somebody that's selling to a restaurant, is that what you mean? Just to clarify.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, or the message from the restaurant to the customer.
I mean, the number one theme that I picked up on lately, which is, look, yes, I can find you customers, but I can find you customers in a way that's sustainable. Right? So, if I have a sustainable customer base, then I'm not really worried necessarily about, 2 weeks from now, what am I going to do? I want to make sure that I can build a long-term brand. So being able to sell that to people, being able to actually talk to individuals about what can I do to improve my, improve the amount of, I convert a lot more of those sales when I'm able to tell people that they're going to own a huge percentage of that audience.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to touch on that, Annette, because once again, we unlocked part of that offline. Trevor, are you back with us now, buddy?
I think so. Just having some issues. There's a Chrome extension that was fighting for supremacy on my browser, so I just switched over to my phone. Problem
Terrific.
averted.
I could
Much
see
better.
that you actually came online and you left, and then you popped back into the lobby. So thank you for that. And this is half the battle with digital online. Sometimes, guys, you just got to persevere and just break your way through. So just to touch base, Trevor, have you heard the discussion that we've been talking about?
In and out, yeah. Talking about bots and capturing that audience, using that, drawing that back from Facebook and getting it back to in the hands of the owner or
Back
the
to the owner.
proprietor. Yeah.
Yep. So we've touched on that, and then we actually explored that further. And Phil actually said that at the moment he can see how developing a larger sales structure and future bookings through that bot process and converting those clients can actually help with banks, financing, and just the general support of the business. So what I wanted you to get your view on is when you have a look at when you're developing sales copy and conversion, have you seen any changes, emerging changes in the last 12 months from that, and then perhaps how that can be used, in that automation or that bot space as well?
Well, I do see the advantages of using a bot because it's instant communication. I mean, you think about how many people have cellular technology in their pocket, have some kind of a smartphone or device. I think that can go a long ways in number one, not only nurturing a relationship with your customer, but also them feeling like you actually care and you're more in contact with them. Because now, Phil, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're setting up your sequences with your bots or setting up your funnels and communicating with people, you set it up in such a way to where it's almost like a real conversation with somebody. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, the trick is to let people know that they're not actually talking to a human being. And here's the reason. It's you don't want them to think that you're specifically speaking to a human being. Because if nobody's there to answer, let's say after there's a 5-minute gap or something, you don't want that to, you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure that people know, like, this is an automated system. It's just it's an easier way for us to interact with you. That sort of thing. So
exactly, but it's a more personal point of contact, because if you think about cellular technology, people have it within their reach, within 3 feet of them 24/7. Like, they put it down at night beside their bed to charge, and then it's up in the morning. It's the first thing that they touch when they wake up and the last thing they touch before they go to sleep. So having the ability to communicate people directly with their cell phone, not in an email, because email largely gets ignored. I think there's still a place for email, but it's not as effective as using a messenger bot. So I think that there's a huge opportunity for, like you said, financial institutions, for restaurants, for different ways in different industries to be able to use this technology to communicate to their audience. Absolutely.
You actually opened up an interesting point there. So, Trevor and Phil, from your point of view here, we all know that when we have a look at email marketing, it's been around for a while. It's for quite a long time. Once you've actually got it set up, it's actually the best form of marketing or cheapest form of marketing, because we can get those nurturing sequences out there and we can go. And it looks like it seems like it's email warfare at the moment. Excuse me, but from a bot's point of view versus an email marketing point of view, what do you see the open rate difference between a bot and, say, an email sequence?
Yeah, I wish I could show you a screen share. Just sent out one yesterday. It was a 94% open rate on a bot that had 1,500 subscribers, which is incredible.
That's amazing.
And this was just a regular broadcast. We had, I think the unsubscribe rate was about 0.5%. So I think we had, a good, a dozen plus or so actually unsubscribe. But I'm not really worried about that. But also I'm not really to the feeling, like I said about this earlier, I'm not romantic about this stuff. It's working now. Eventually people are going to get tired of it, just like they get tired of email. and always looking for something else on the horizon. That's why I'm still not dead on email. I believe that there's a time and a place for it, especially if you do it right. Email can be a very powerful tool. And I think in conjunction with it too, you also have to remember not everybody's on Facebook Messenger. I mean, for as much as Facebook owns the world, I think it's 1.4 billion people that are on Facebook Messenger. I mean, 7.5 billion on the planet. So how are you going to reach those people? And I'll bet you that there's probably 2.5 billion people that have email addresses. So you can't completely discount email. I'm still a fan of it as long as you're
But Phil, look, you've said something there that's just and amazing. And I've known that we've done our tests before, and we've spoken to a bunch of other people. I've spoken to experts in the States at a bunch of conferences, but 94% was the open rate. Let's just reiterate. You reach 1,500 people. 94% was the open rate, and you lost to 0.5% that actually said no longer unsubscribe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Man, those stats are just outstanding. Look, from anyone so from your point of view, Trevor, you've been in the digital space for a while, buddy. What do you think on those stats?
I think that's crazy. I mean, 94% open rate is absolutely amazing. Now, it would be curious to see what the conversion rate is on that particular campaign, because even though you get 94% opening, I like to see some numbers as to how many people converted from that, and I bet you it is absolutely astonishing the amount of conversions you'd get from that type of an audience. Even just 1,500, like that is, to me, is incredible, and it's a reason why I'm going to be getting on the phone with Phil pretty much after this and say, buddy, show me your ways, please, because you know what, the people in my area need that. I don't know of anybody who is actually taking advantage of that technology in that way. I haven't seen it. So I know there's people in the United States who are taking advantage of that technology right now using Facebook Messenger bots. But I need to service clients in my area with that technology because, they need it. I mean, our goal as a digital agency is to increase conversions and sales for our clients. And if this is the next thing that is happening that is going to be helping them to get more people in their restaurants and get more people through, then I want to be on top of that. I don't want all the them wasting their money on coupons and Groupons and all these other aspects that they're doing to try and gain market share, when I can get into people's pockets with the device they love the most and share a message about, hey, come get a free appetizer or whatever. It's Father's Day. Come and join us, and fathers get whatever offer you want to provide them, so that we're helping them to convert and stay in business, because that's what's most important, is helping our customers stay in business.
Yeah, you were talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
So I'm going to swing to you in a moment, Phil, but that's 1,425 people that have engaged with that, with that sequence. 1,425 out of 1,500, mate. That is outstanding. Just
bonkers.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. So, what was the cost of that relative to the open rate, the click-through rate?
You mean the total cost of the bot itself?
Yeah. So the ad spend.
I think we spend $20 a month.
So you spend $20.
I boosted it. I boosted it for $8. So I think $28.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So realistically, the cost is actually engaging an expert like yourself that actually has the right funnels, the right Facebook ad message that's going to be that critical conversion. Bring them into the bot sequence, and away they go. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. In this particular one was asking all the people on this bot, all the subscribers, is asking them to let me know if they'd actually been into the restaurant or not. So we wanted to get a good sense of who was in and who was not. So we wanted to segment those so we could retarget the people who have not been in, and also give them an offer to come in. The people that said that they had been into the restaurant, we asked them on a 1 to 5 star level. 1 being, how is your service? How is your food? 1 being horrible. 5 being tremendous. the vast majority of people did 4s or 5s. We had 22 people click into there, and of those, we asked them to do a Yelp review and a Facebook review. So we got an additional, I think I'm looking at the numbers here, 21 additional reviews. So that's Facebook and Yelp reviews. That was the purpose of it, was to get more reviews to boost the rating. So
yeah, that's massive. In the restaurant space, that is a huge metric, because people, when they're looking to try a brand new restaurant, they're tired of going to the chain restaurants. Getting a good, or reading a lot of good reviews is gold. I know when my wife and I are looking for a new restaurant to try out, we look at reviews and we weigh them against other things, and we're like, okay, should we? It's a determining factor as to whether we're going to try that restaurant or not. So, I mean, that right there is gold for any restaurant.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible. For this one is it's a pretty beloved restaurant too. So, I'm at an advantage there. It helps. But it does work. It does work. Definitely does work with newer restaurants or restaurants that aren't as well known.
That's fantastic. So we've been talking about bots, sales conversion, and emerging technology or digital trends. For anyone that's stepping into the live broadcast now, we've been speaking with Phil from Milkshake Digital from Des Moines, and also Trevor from Edmonton Inspired Method. Digital agencies. We've just been talking about the how bots are actually really changing the landscape from the old analog traditional businesses and into the modern world, particularly how you can nurture your customer and then take them on that journey to conversion, whether it be for reviews or whether it be for sales directly. Click-through rates at 94% versus the traditional 2 to 4% in email marketing. Completely different on the landscape, so it's just astounding, really. And I know that we've been working with with bots within our agency for a little bit ourselves, but talking to yourself, Phil, an expert in the space, it's just been very valuable. So I really appreciate that. So Trevor, from your point of view, when we have a look at sales conversion, we look at SEO as different pathways to conversion as well through organic search. So how are you seeing that? How that could work with social conversion that Phil's been talking about with us here today?
Well, I think that when you're putting together a marketing system for any business, you have to include and think about the various different audiences and how they are searching for your particular brand. So not everybody, like Phil mentioned, not everybody uses Facebook Messenger. Some people rely on email. Other people go to Google search in order to find out, what are the 10 top restaurants in my area. Let's use restaurants, for example. So people who are using Google as their search tool to find reviews and to find good restaurants in their area is key. So you have to be using a number of different digital strategies in order to stay on top, in order to be found by various customers and how they want to find you out. Some people will be voice search. I mean, that is something that is emerging and growing. And I think restaurants are a perfect example, as well as retail establishments. Using voice search is becoming more and more prevalent. So if you aren't leveraging and using all these different technologies that are available, you are possibly missing out on thousands of potential customers because you're not taking advantage of it. So I think when you're thinking of a digital strategy, SEO is very, very important for you. So that number one, having a good SEO strategy, but you also have to have a good website. If you're getting people to the site, but then you're not able to convert them through that site or send them somewhere where you can get them all the information they're looking for, or take them through a sequence of events, or what we call a sales funnel, then you have lost the battle again. So it's not a one-trick pony, and it's not something that you just do one strategy and you've won. You have to be looking at the whole thing as the big picture. So that's why for me, when we started our agency, we could have gone in a couple of different veins and just focused on one area. But I see the digital landscape as a whole, and trying to do just one area, you are, let's say taking care of a wound on your arm when you've got a gaping hole in your leg kind of thing. So in my opinion, you've got to take a look at all the different strategies and look at your particular audience, know your audience, know how they are seeking and finding you out, and then pouring your efforts into communicating your message through that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it really does.
It's perfect.
Awesome. So, guys, I think that we've had a really good chat here. We might actually wind up there. If anyone's got anything else to say, we can flick to you right now. But, Phil, are you happy with the where we've covered today?
Yeah, awesome discussion, guys. There's so much. I guess the point is that we think about this internet thing as being like, it's a dinosaur of some sort, right? But it's only just beginning. Like it's so exciting to be able to take some of these new technologies and really help small business owners. What I love about working with restaurants is that there might only be 40 people that are actually working in that restaurant, but there's the milk truck driver. There's the person that is responsible for cleaning it. There's the police and fire that have to sort of watch over it, the security. There's so many people that are employed at these businesses, and I don't want to get too esoteric here. But the point is that like to be able to deliver these sort of tools to people that can really impact the lives of small business owners is really fun. So I'm happy to have these kinds of discussions whenever. Totally.
What about yourself, Trevor? Your finishing comments?
I have to agree 100% with Bill. What we do is important because we are supporting our local economy, and we're helping feed people. We're helping to make sure that their dreams are coming true also. So when we're putting together these plans and these strategies and so forth, it's more than just ones and zeros. There's lives, there's people on the other end of our efforts. And, when you're looking for a digital agency, when you're looking for someone to do your marketing, make sure they're looking after your best interests. They're not just looking at you as a dollar sign, but they're looking at the business as a whole and really, truly wanting to make a difference in what you're doing. So that's my parting advice.
Look, and I think that I'll wrap up with, Trevor, you actually hit the nail on the head earlier. When people are wanting to deal with us, they're really looking for sales conversion. We spoke about that at length through new digital processes or emerging trends. It's been wonderful. So, Trevor, thank you. It's as always, Trevor from Inspired Method in Edmonton, Canada. Awesome. Just absolutely brilliant. Phil, it's just been wonderful speaking to you. I guess the owner or the digital face of the world, really, from Good Milkshake Digital in Des Moines, in Iowa, in the United States. I think that we might talk to you or this group again in 7 days' time. I think we've only just scratched the surface. To all our viewers, thank you for viewing again. We've got a lot more to talk about in the digital space. This is just the first thing of a number of different elements that we can pull in. We've got a lot more to talk about bots and certainly that sales conversion cycle for business. So thank you, and we might wind up there. So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the flip side in 7 days.
Great. Thanks, John. Thanks, Trevor.
Thank you, Phil.